Hello, my name is Michael Stokes and I'm Head of Employment and Immigration at Harris & Clark Rickaby's. I wanted to talk about a series of requests for advice that I've had over the last few weeks that come about from employers wanting to make some of their employees redundant in these very difficult circumstances. The query that comes up is whether, if someone has been furloughed for several months perhaps, since March onwards, whether it's automatically all right and fair to select that person for redundancy. When an employer thinks about redundancy in most circumstances, they'll try and work out what job roles they want to retain in the future. They try and do that without reference to the individuals concerned. They just work out what structure they want to have in place for the future. Once they've done that, they set about thinking of selection criteria, rules by which they're going to choose people to stay and to go. And those selection criteria, in the context of an unfair dismissal claim, are the criteria that are going to be assessed for their fairness. Are they potentially fair? Are they being fairly applied? In the current situation, a lot of people have been at home, not working, being paid part of their wages by the government through the furlough scheme, the coronavirus job retention scheme. Now, when that scheme first came into force in the spring, it was at a time when much of the economy was being locked down and there wasn't much choice to be made. Many employers sent everybody home, either to work at home or simply not to work at all because of the emergency that we found ourselves in. So that decision wasn't really about redundancy. That was a health and safety decision with everyone racing each other to the door to keep safe. Since then, employers have, in most cases, started to bring people back from furlough, and they've been making a number of individual decisions about whether to bring people back and who should come back. And that has left a lot of employees still at home, still on furlough, effectively having been selected to be away from the workplace on that informal basis. When an employer thinks about making people redundant, they think about their selection criteria very carefully. And they try to make sure that before they make any final decisions, they apply those selection criteria in a rigorous and careful way. If an employer decides now, in October 2020, to make redundant all of the people who are still on furlough, they run the risk of being found to have selected those people unfairly. At no stage, in all probability over the last few months, has that employer thought about who they want to keep and why, in the sort of detail with which they'd have to think about that problem to be found to be fair as an employer in making those redundancies. So what I'm saying is that the decision that was taken in March or April to go home, to send everyone home in one go, and then the later decisions during the spring and summer to gradually bring people back are probably not going to withstand scrutiny by an employment tribunal in an unfair dismissal case. So what an employer should do, even if it has a pool of employees who are currently not working and who are at home on furlough, what they should do is go through the same exercise of working out what shape their workforce needs to be for the future, and then applying the same sort of selection criteria to people who are at work and people who are at home, not able to work at the moment. If you don't do that as an employer, I think there's every chance that the employees who've been at home on furlough for all these months will feel aggrieved. They'll feel that they have been selected for redundancy by accident, by furlough, and they'll claim that their dismissals were unfair. As ever, if you want to get advice on this from experienced solicitors in my team, phone us, email us, contact us via the website. We can help with this issue.